good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time you happen to be listening to this podcast. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. My name is Delores. I am your discernment and relationship coach, honey. Okay. And we are back with another video about discernment. Okay, we are digging in, and I hope you all have really been enjoying this series on discernment. I mean, y'all, listen, I feel so enriched and empowered, enlightened, and I mean, I just feel so ready, okay, like to make all the best decisions for my life just by going through this series about discernment. I mean, how many times have we heard people say, use your discernment? Where's your discernment? But we never really knew exactly what it was, how powerful it could be in our lives, how to use it exactly. It's just like now we know, and now we are equipped, right, with all of the right information to make the best decisions in our lives, to propel us forward, to be our best selves, right? And not only that, but to enrich those around us, right, in our world as a whole. Okay, so listen. Let's get into it, honey. We are about to do chapter 4, right? The beginning of chapter 4. Now, this chapter is a long chapter, okay? But we are going to get into some examples. Like, there's a whole, scenario in here. So, y'all, we are going to get into it. So, go ahead and like the video, share the video, tell a friend to tell a friend to come on and jump on, okay? Because everybody, lottie dottie, everybody needs to know about discernment. And I will be right back. Get in here, honey. Get on in here. Let's talk. Okay, let's talk. Let's get into it. Let me go back. Hold on. I'm on the wrong page, child. I'm on the wrong page. Look, y'all see this story? We're about to get into this story. This is about to be so juicy. Look, you see it, not my emergency, honey. We're about to get into this story, about to be so juicy. I feel it. I feel it in my spirit, honey. Okay. Now, I do need to let you guys know. You guys know I've read this book before. You can see all my highlights in it, right? But it's actually been a while. It's been a good while since I've read this book. So I don't remember all the scenarios in this book. So this is like genuine excitement. This is genuine excitement that I have right now over these stories because I really don't remember all of them, even though I've read it before. Okay. So let's do a really quick recap. Okay, let's do a real quick recap because yesterday, listen, when we got into this discussion about discernment, we talked about what discernment is. Okay, today we are going to talk about what discernment is not. Do you hear me? Okay, R.L. Maco, who is the author of this book, y'all, when I tell y'all she covered the bases. Do you hear me? She covered the bases. Okay. She said the people are not going to be confused at all. The people will not be confused. Okay. So, yesterday, right, we talked about what discernment is. Okay. We talked about what discernment is and what did we come up with? What did we come up with here? Let me show you. Let me put it on the screen, honey. Okay. Listen. Okay, discernment, having the ability to sift through different types of information, constant adversity, and potential threats in life while consistently making appropriate choices, rational judgments, and proper decisions that will propel you forward with the steadfast purpose of improving your life and ultimately improving the world around you. Y'all, I'm telling you, yesterday we got so much good news. I'm telling you, this is a good news book. This is a good news book. Okay. To go a bit further, this is what she said. The true intent of discernment is to keep you and your actions in line with your ultimate path in life. Right? Not even your mother's wisdom can compete with discernment. Why? Because discernment is about navigating your way, in the midst of dealing with the daily chaos of life. While your mother can see the pitfalls in certain places, you are venturing into based upon her experience going down certain roads before you. Your mother cannot know completely your path in life because her perspective, just like anyone else's perspective, is colored by her own experiences and perceptions of life and existence. And although your mother may be right 99.99999% of the time, okay, she may not know you better than, and she may know you better than anyone else, right? Ultimately, she doesn't know what your path in life is and cannot dictate your path unless you give her the power to do so. But I would encourage you, friends, daughters, discerners, don't allow that to happen, right? Live your life. Walk your own path. Be in the driver's seat of your own life. And don't give that power to anyone because you were meant to have it. And now, with discernment, you are equipped because discernment is the navigation system. Isn't that what we talked about yesterday? That's your ultimate GPS. And even if you are not clear right now exactly what your purpose is in life, discernment is your key to finding out what your purpose is. Because as we grow in discernment, as we build this foundation and we keep building and we keep building, we become more in tune with what God's will is for our life, right? What God's will is, AKA what our purpose is. This is why I am so against. Listen, let me go ahead and pull it up right now since we're talking about it. I am so against the religious narcissist. Because a religious narcissist, their purpose is to deceive you. And when they are deceiving you, right? Guess what? The antidote. Guess what your secret weapon is, your superpower is when it comes to the deception of the religious narcissist, when it comes to the deception of this world. Your antidote, your secret weapon, your superpower is discernment. And as long as you are discerning, you cannot be deceived. Do you realize that? When you use discernment, you cannot be deceived. Child, but see, y'all not ready for that. Yeah, y'all not ready. Y'all not ready. Y'all not ready for that. We still got to build, honey. Okay, we still got to build on this foundation. We not ready to dig into that yet. Okay, so let's keep going. She said, right? We're doing a recap. We're doing a recap of yesterday. At a minimum, right? Remember we talked about the discernment spectrum. In fact, let me just go back. Let me go back so you can see it for yourself. Let's go back, okay? Remember the discernment spectrum. Okay? At a minimum, Understanding and learning how to discern will allow one to take full advantage of prime opportunities that will present themselves, opportunities that will impact your life for the better. Like, don't you want that? Seriously. Like, ask yourself that question. Don't you want that? Even at the very minimum, that you will be able to take full advantage. And remember, I was telling y'all yesterday, right? How can minimum and full, okay, be in the same sentence? At a minimum, you're full. At a minimum, you are full, right? When you understand and learn how to discern. At a maximum. Number 2 here, understanding and learning how to discern can make the difference between life and death. Your life, your death. Think about it. Think about how many people have lost their lives taken because they did not use discernment. Think about how many people took a life. Okay? Because there are multiple sides of this, right? Because the person whose life was taken likely did not use discernment. But what we know for sure is that the person who took the life definitely didn't use discernment, right? Because the golden rule says that we will treat every human being with dignity and respect. And I'm telling you, you are not treating anyone with dignity and respect and then take their life. Think about that. Okay. What else did she say? Using discernment, right? Using your ability to discern always creates a win-win scenario. You cannot lose. You cannot lose. And see, like I'm telling y'all, this is such good news. This is such good news. Because even at a minimum, you are full. And at a maximum, you are living life. This is keeping you from the grave, honey, and those around you. How many times have our decisions put someone else's life at risk? Hmm? Think about it. Let's keep going. We're just doing a recap right now. There is no competing. Look, this is the aha moment, the well kept secret of discernment, which makes its relevance unmatched. There is nothing greater. Nothing can compete. Nothing at all can compete with discernment. No matter how you slice it, there is no competing with discernment. If you fully understand its unique qualities and the value of its power. Look how she put power. She capitalized it and she italicized it. It's powerful. It's powerful. Plug in, right? Plug into discernment. That's your power source. Once you do, you will apply it to every aspect of your life. You are going to be a discerning something, okay? You won't leave home without it. It's like every decision. Let me plug in. Let me plug into my discernment, honey. Okay, listen, because I am not making a decision without using discernment. Once you do, you will apply it to every aspect in life and finally see the positive results you've been expecting in life, but haven't been able to achieve. You've been wanting this. You've been wanting a better life, better decisions. You've been wanting to thrive in your relationships. You've been wanting to be financially secure and financially sound. You've been wanting to be more healthy. You've been wanting enriched and thriving relationships with people. You've been wanting to do things in your best interest and those around you. You have been wanting to live a long, fulfilling life. And now you can. Now you can because you are plugging in to the power of discernment. Okay? Discernment is your ticket to upward mobility. Do not leave home without it. Do not leave home without it. Do not leave home without it. Okay? Now, let's get into chapter 4. What discernment is not. Okay? Listen, this is making me so excited. Okay? I know y'all can hear the excitement in my voice. I wish you could see me, honey, but I look a hot mess. So I'm not going to do y'all like that. Okay? Come on, camera, I'll be looking a hot mess. But just know, honey, like I am super excited about this. Like, this is like the best gift that any of us, all of us, all of us have. It's the best gift that all of us have. It's the gift of discernment. Okay. So at the bottom of the screen, you see the copyright disclaimer. You guys know I am reading from the book, A Yearn to Discern, finding purpose, and fulfillment through discernment. And this is by R.L. Maco. Okay. Now, I didn't ask her for permission to pull her book up on here. Okay. But I'm sure, right? I'm sure that she knew that I was digging into discernment. I'm sure she'd probably give this book away for free because everybody needs it. Now, I want you guys to support your authors. Support people who are doing the work, right? And really digging into these topics so that you are empowered and enriched and enlightened. So I encourage you all to get this book, get the e-version of this book. That's what you're seeing on the screen right now. I have the e-version of this book, and I also have the hard copy. And I also have another one of her books that we are going to get into a little later in the series called A Year to Discern. Okay. But please, you guys, make sure that you are supporting authors who are enriching your life, and support content creators and those who bring this information to you to empower you. Okay. So let's get into chapter 4, honey. What discernment is not. At this point, you should have a better understanding of what discernment means and how it would change your life in numerous positive ways if you commit yourself to discerning on a daily basis. Daily basis. And remember, we talked about it, right? Discerning in every area of your life. Every area. This is not just for some grand spiritual concepts, okay? Discernment is what you can do, what you can use in every single area of your life. Every area, every day, all day, okay? But now that we know what discernment is, it would behoove us to learn specifically what discernment is not, in caps, right? We need to know what it's not. Excuse me. We need to know. Okay? We need to know what it's not. I like this word. I like behoove. I just like this word. Let's look it up. It would behoove you, honey. Okay? And it is a duty or responsibility for someone to do something. It is incumbent on, right? It is appropriate or suitable. It befits, right? It is your duty, right? We know what it is, but it is also our duty to know what it is not, okay? So it will behoove you, honey, to like and share this video too. Okay? It will behoove you. Okay. Understanding what discernment is not is also a key component to understanding when you are actually discerning or when you are shooting in the dark. Okay? We got to know. We got to know this stuff. Okay? We got to know. So we make sure that we are doing it and we are doing it well. Okay? We are doing it and doing it and doing it well. Okay? There is no negative components to discernment. Please remember that. There is no negative components to discernment. There is no negative components to discernment. There is no negative components to discernment. Remember that. Remember that. Okay? Remember that. Discernment is about sifting through information, good and bad information, in order to make the appropriate decisions for your life. Your life. Okay? You got to do what's best for you. Decisions that will protect you and yours. How many times have we thrown discernment out of the window because we were more concerned about what other people think or what may be better for someone else to our own detriment, right? Where we have left ourselves and our loved ones unprotected. Okay? But excuse me, let me just go back. Okay. Discernment is about sifting through information, good and bad information, in order to make the appropriate decisions for your life. Decisions that will protect you and yours, but decisions that will not require you to intentionally hurt others. It won't. She put it in caps. This is not about hurting anyone else. This is about doing what is best for you, what is safe for you to protect you and yours. And when you are doing that, there is nothing negative that will come of it. Okay? First and foremost, while discernment requires you to make judgments, discernment is not about making judgments for the purpose of condemning, degrading, demeaning, diminishing, or devaluing another person in any way, shape, or form. It's not about that. So if I see a group of people that my discernment is saying, go ahead and cross the street or walk the other way. I've done nothing to actually condemn anyone. I haven't degraded anyone. I haven't demeaned anyone or diminished or devalued anyone in any way. I have simply changed course so that I can protect myself and my loved ones. Does that make sense? But I hadn't walked up to the group and done anything. I haven't said anything to them. I haven't degraded them in any way. I haven't called them names. Y'all look like a bunch of thugs. Y'all look like a bunch of riff-raff. I haven't done any of those things. I have simply changed course because my discernment told me to. Because it's just like I'm doing what is best for me and my safety. Does that make sense? In addition, discernment is not simply about being right or wrong, or about mindlessly passing judgment, or even about discriminating, although on some level, judging and discriminating are important aspects of the process of discernment. Remember, I was telling you before. There is what makes the difference is your intent. And when you're using discernment, there is no negativity that is coming of it. Because you are not doing this. You are not making the decisions that you are making for the purpose of passing judgment in any type of way that condemns or degrades or demeans or diminishes or devalues anyone. Okay? However, judgment and discrimination are not the focus of what discernment is all about. It's not what it's all about. And understand this, discernment is not about lifting yourself up by putting someone else down. It's not about that. On the flip side, this also means that discernment does not involve lifting someone else up to the detriment of yourself or of oneself. Okay? How many times? How many times have we done that? In other words, right? In other words, discernment does not cause direct or collateral damage to someone else, including yourself. It just doesn't. I cannot begin to tell you how important this piece of information is to your understanding of discernment. Okay? Sit with that just for a moment because she wants you to know that this piece is very, very important. It does not, discernment does not cause direct or collateral damage to someone else. Just doesn't. Because remember, our foundation of discernment is respect and dignity for all human beings. There are so many people who miss this point and proceed to get themselves involved in situations they never should have entered into in the first place. So when I say discerning will not lift you up while bringing someone else down and vice versa, I am really saying that you need to pay close attention to the situation that has presented itself to you. Paying close attention is what discernment is all about. Pay attention. Pay attention. As you discern through a situation, you must make an assessment of the facts that have been specifically presented to you so you can decide whether or not you should get involved. Huh? Okay, mic drop. You must make an assessment. Do I need to even get involved with this to begin with? Right? Do I need to get involved? Similarly, if you are confronted with a situation where you must make an individual decision for you and your family and loved ones, discerning will allow you to make the right decision and move forward in the correct manner. Either way, discernment should be your navigation tool that guides you to your destination safely. That's the word I added. That one. Safely, honey, okay? Because there is there is so many dangers out there. Just think about how times have changed even over the last 5 years that have really required us to be discerning, right? Think about it. We're still not through a whole global pandemic. That was a situation that required all of us globally to use our discernment. We're coming up again on election season, right? Another time in our world where we are required to use discernment, we have to pay attention. We have to listen, even for what is not being said. Okay, let me continue reading. When you are using discernment as a navigation system, you will not need to second guess whether the navigation system is utilizing the best route to get you to your destination. And I love this whole navigation thing. I say GPS. You know what I'm saying? Because how many times, like your GPS says, you are on the best route, you're on the fastest route. Up ahead, there's an accident, there's a speed trap, there's this, there's that, and it warns you. Think about it like that. Think about discernment like that. Now, you may venture off from what your navigation system say, right? We've done that before. Okay. We've decided to take detours and all the things. But your navigation system of discernment, right? Well, you won't need to second guess whether the navigation system is utilizing the best route to get you to your destination. Okay? Uh-oh, my bad. Where did I go? Okay, what did I do here? I went too far. Okay. In situations where someone presents you with a problem that needs to be solved, you will need to discern whether or not this is your problem to begin with. Okay. Just because somebody presented you with a problem does not mean it's your problem. Okay. Like you need to assess, okay, is this my problem? Does your emergency constitute an emergency on on my end? Okay? These are discerning decisions you got to make. If it is not your problem, then the question shifts to one of whether or not you should take on the problem in some way, right? So, you ask yourself the question, is this my problem to begin with? Do I even want to get involved with this to begin with? And then you say, okay, well maybe I do want to. Well, you got to discern in that situation too. Do you want to? Is that something that you need to take on? I say this, right? I'm continuing to read here. I say this because some situations may be presented to you as if it's your problem to solve or to assist in solving, when in fact, it is not your problem to get entangled with on any level, right? And now we've got this saying out. It's like, get somebody else to do it. Okay, get somebody else to do it. This is not my problem. I'm not getting involved. This is not my problem to solve. I don't have to assist with this. Get somebody else to do it. Okay. Therefore, being attentive and actually digesting the information relayed to you is paramount. We have gotten into situations and tried to solve problems that didn't have anything to do with us, and we ended up creating problems for ourselves. This is what discernment is about, y'all. This is what it's about. Am I taking on someone else's issues, problems, emergencies, and then creating a whole mess for myself and those that I love? Right? And if we really dig deep into discernment, your antennas should already be up when a person presents a problem to you as if it's your problem to solve. Hold on, my spidey senses, okay? My spidey senses is saying, hold on, pump your brakes. Pump your brakes. Is this my problem to solve? My antennas are up, right? When it is uniquely their problem, not yours. Why are you even bringing this to me? I'm looking side eye at this whole situation. Honey, because this is not my problem. Get somebody else to do it. Hopefully, you will be able to discern this initial fact before you even listen to all of the sordid details of their dilemma, child. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even have to hear no more. Okay. Listen, you guys, I don't even have to listen to the whole story to know. Mm-mm. Okay. Okay. And some of us really need to practice saying no. No is a complete sentence. You don't have to hear the whole story because your discernment has already told you no. And then you get to listening to the whole story. And then, you know what I'm saying? And the violins are playing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now it's like pulling on your heartstrings. It's causing an emotional reaction in you. And what we know, right, is that we don't need to be making decisions off of emotion. But that's what some people will bring to you. Their whole little story, they done already like practiced it. You know what I'm saying? They crafted this whole story just to get you to have an emotional reaction and make a decision that is not a discerning decision. Okay? Depending upon the person, you must proceed with extreme caution when dealing with a person who positions a problem to you this way because they are telling you so much about themselves. Hmm? They're telling you so much about themselves. There are a lot of people who are not in the driver's seat of their lives. They're bringing you their problem. And guess what? When something goes wrong, they're blaming you. You're impacted. Now you've created a problem for yourself where there was none. Okay? And you have to make an assessment. You have to make a judgment in this situation. No, you're not judging, right? So get that out of your mind. You are not judging. You are making a judgment. And yes, I will make a judgment about a person who brings me their problems that is not my problem. Get somebody else to do it. Okay? First and foremost, they are telling you that they are thinking solely about themselves and what they desire. Put simply, they are selfish. Selfish, y'all. They are also giving you insight into how they will treat you if you get involved. Hmm? They're telling you. They're telling you how they're going to treat you. They're putting everything on your back, making their life your responsibility, making their choices your responsibility, making their mess ups, right? Because that's really what it comes down to. They're looking for someone to bail them out. And they're coming to you with this, with their sob stories, with all the sordid details of their problems because they weren't discerning in their lives, right? And so now they're going to bring it to you. And you have to be discerning about if you want to even get involved. You don't even have to hear the whole story. Child, don't even let them waste your time with hearing all the sordid details. Okay? Like, you're not even gonna take up my time with this whole sob story because you're not finna be pulling on my heartstrings, okay? And now I'm in here making emotional decisions based on this sob story you didn't concocted. Okay? Please be aware that they may potentially blame you if you get involved. Didn't I just say that? And something goes wrong or the problem is not solved after you get involved. Y'all, how many times have you seen this or have you been a part of this? And then someone was like, well, you didn't solve my problem. And then you like, dang, I shouldn't even got involved to begin with. But you didn't use your discernment. Okay? Discernment is to protect you from all of this. Be aware that they may throw you under the bus if they feel it necessary, child. The wheels on the bus go round and round upside your head. Do you hear me? You got tire tracks on your back, honey, because someone threw you under the bus and you should have never even got involved to begin with. Wow. Okay. Let's keep going. Why do I keep doing that? I told you I be getting excited about this stuff and now I'm changing pages and all of this. Okay. Where was I? Okay. Let me see. Be aware that they may throw you under the bus if they feel it necessary. These are tried and true characteristics of selfish people. And think about the narcissistic world that we live in where people feel entitled to you nearly giving up your entire life for them, for their problems, for their purpose, for their selfish desires. You simply cannot survive and thrive in the world we live in without discernment. Okay, let me keep reading. When selfish people position a problem this way, Oftentimes, they are attempting to dump the problem on you. They don't even know they are telling on themselves and how selfish they are. They're depending on you not using your discernment and seeing through this, right? They're telling on themselves. And some of us simply don't even realize it because we are not using our discernment. Let's keep going. But what's most important is that you know they are telling on themselves. And sometimes, y'all, it's not even to the point where you have to say, well, you're telling on yourself. Well, you're being selfish and you're showing like you don't why? Like, why do you even have to go there? Why do you have to say anything? No, that's for you to know. Sometimes you don't have to call it out. You don't have to confront it. You just have to say, no, no. Practice it right now. Everybody say no. When you hear this, when you hear this video, put a no in the chat, child. That's it. Complete sentence, no. This is discernment at its finest. Now, y'all, let's get into it. Let's get into this example, okay? The example here is not my emergency, okay? Listen, I'm here for the stories, child. I'm here for it. Okay. A gentleman I worked with once taught me an important lesson. He said to me, an emergency on your part does not necessarily create an emergency on my part. Mic drop. Okay. How many times have people brought us an emergency and then we're feeling all anxious and we are like trying to solve their problem because they just made it an emergency? I need this right now. I just need no, no. You failed to discern. You failed to do what was best for you, and now you gonna bring me your emergency? Child. Okay, let me keep reading. This statement was life-changing for me. He was referring to a situation that a family member presented to him in an emergency, and the person expected him to drop everything he was doing to attend this so-called emergency situation. After being told about this emergency, my coworker informed me that no one's life or liberty was at stake. Nobody was about to die. Therefore, this was not a true emergency. It wasn't even a true emergency. Okay? This was the first and most important point to understand, he said. In fact, the situation had to do with a person needing $300 by 6 p.m. that day so that he could pay his cable bill. I know you lying. I know you lying. Oh my God. I need $300 by 6 o'clock. I gotta pay my cable bill, child, because if I don't pay my cable bill, I'm not gonna be able to watch the Housewives. Get somebody else to do it. Okay. If he did not pay the bill by 6, his cable would have been turned off. This person pleaded with my coworker and insisted that not only must he come up with the money, but that he needed to bring the money to him at the cable payment center where he was waiting to pay the bill. I cannot. I cannot. Y'all, he like, you got to bring it to me right now. I'm sitting here in the line. What? I'm in the line right now. I need the $300. That day, my coworker was responsible for picking up his son from football practice by 6. And since he got off work at 5:30, he would have just enough time to leave work and pick up his son on time. The only person he could have possibly called to pick up his son that day was his son's mother. Unfortunately, he had to consider three things. Three things to consider. He had joint custody with the child's mother. 2, today was his day to pick up his son. And 3, he was barely on speaking terms with his son's mother. Right? So now I'm going to create a bigger issue for myself because you take $300 to pay a cable bill. And you in line right now and you don't have the money, but you sitting up at the payment center looking dumb. Okay? Like, you got to be kidding me. Now, due to these considerations, his son's mother picking up the child was out of the question. Out of the question. And finally, my coworker did not have $300 anyway. He didn't even have the money. He could potentially borrow the money from his mother, but his mother was on a fixed income and couldn't really afford to lend anyone money. But as a mother, she would do it for him. And my coworker knew she would. He knew he could have got the money from out of his mother. Now, how many more problems would that have caused? Knowing his mother's situation, however, my coworker believed that borrowing from his mother would be selfish unless it was done in an actual emergency. Okay? For my coworker, an emergency meant he only borrowed money from his mother if he needed something for his son, or unless his or a loved one's life and liberty were truly at stake. He told me since this family member's situation did not fall within those parameters, he was not borrowing any money from his mother for this particular situation. No, get somebody else to do it. After providing me with all this information, my coworker politely informed me that as far as he was concerned, this was not a true emergency and it certainly was not his emergency. Hmm. Ask yourself how many times have you come through for somebody when it was to your detriment? How many times? They made it an emergency. They made it so important. There was this sense of urgency about it. You didn't even have time to think it through because they just like, I got to do it right now. I'm at the payment office right now. I need you to come down here right now. And you did it. And it was a ripple effect of drama, of problems, of chaos that it caused in your life. Okay, let's continue. Therefore, he was not going to get involved. He called the family member and very nicely informed him that he could not help him out. Oh, I can't help you. I can't help you, friend. I can't help you. Cuz I can't help you. You gonna miss the housewives. Okay. You gonna miss it unless you get somebody else to do it. Okay. He did not explain why he couldn't help. He simply informed the person that he was sorry, but he was unable to assist him with his dilemma. Now, how many times have we had to give a person, like, no, we didn't have to, but we did give a person a whole reason, all these reasons, and breaking it down while we can't help them? No, just no. I'm sorry that that you're in this issue, this problem, but I ain't gonna be able to help you. That's it. I'm not gonna be able to do it. Okay. It was now about 5:30, so my coworker bid me a fond farewell with a smile and proceeded to go pick up his son. Child, go on about your business and do what you need to do. He left worry-free and in good spirits. He left worry-free, honey, and in good spirits. When my coworker came into work the next day, I asked him what happened. What happened to the family member's cable situation? Yeah, I'm laughing because like this is so trivial. But I mean, if we really think about it, this has happened, on in situations that are a little less trivial, right? But still equally not our problem. And equally to the point where if we did make it our problem and take it on, it would have caused more problems for ourselves. This is a scenario that she's giving us, but really this could apply to so many situations in our lives that we end up faced with. Okay. He said to me, I don't know. I told you yesterday, not my emergency. Okay. So that means he not even about to call Cuzzo and say, hey, did you get somebody to pay it? It's like, I don't know. I don't care. But not that he don't really just not care, right? Because you have a level of care about the situation. I care. He done miss housewives, you know. But it's not my emergency. So I'm not even finna be checking back and seeing what happened. He told me he didn't call the family member back yesterday after declining to get involved. What you calling back for? You've already made the decision and you don't need to get involved. So don't go sticking your nose out there trying to figure out what happened. My coworker then explained to me that just because someone is having an emergency doesn't mean it's your emergency. He told me that having your cable turned off is not a life or death situation. It's a money management issue. Okay? It's a money management issue. He stated that a money management issue was someone else's personal problem and not his problem to get involved with, nor was it his problem to solve. He said if the person wants the cable to stay on that bad, they will find a way. And if they don't, the cable being turned off will not cause anyone to die. Okay? No one's going to die. It's okay. You'll survive. He said he will not inconvenience himself, his son, or his mother because someone else cannot get their personal affairs in order. Think about it, y'all. How many times have someone brought us a personal problem because they failed to manage their time, manage their money, their emotions, right? And then they put this on you that you need to solve. And now it's an emergency. So now you got to move quick. And no, get somebody else to do it. He told me he knows this person very well. If he gave him the money, the person will undoubtedly call him again and again every time he needs money to bail him out of these types of personal matters. This is what discernment is. Discernment is even forward looking, knowing that if you get involved this time, then every single time this person is going to constantly be making their problems your problems. Are you willing to take that on? You have to ask yourself those questions. That is the behavior of a discerner. Okay? He also revealed that the person already borrowed money from him previously that he hasn't paid back in 3 months like he promised. OMG. How many times, y'all, have this happened in your life where you let somebody borrow money? In fact, you probably let them borrow your last. You didn't even really have it. You had to make sacrifices in order to let that person borrow the money. And they told you, I'm gonna pay you back, man. I'm gonna pay you back. I'll pay you back in like a month. As soon as I get my check, I'm gonna pay you back. And then you ain't even hear from them until they need to borrow some money again and again and again and again. But I'm gonna pay you back. I'm gonna pay you back. Right? A discerner knows, look, you didn't even pay me back the last time. And now you're back again, clearly still not managing your finances properly. And you asking me for money again. Get somebody else to do it. He reiterated that this man's personal affairs are not his problems. And guess what? Around lunchtime that day, my coworker informed me that the family member called to let him know he was able to get the money to keep the cable on without his assistance. Well, look at God. Won't he do it? Won't he do it? And then my coworker looked at me and said, I knew he would find a way to keep his cable on. Always remember, not my emergency. He got somebody else to do it. He was able to watch his housewives. The coworker was able to pick up his son on time and not cause a whole bunch of issues with the mother, with his mother trying to borrow the money for old dude and all of that, y'all. And the guy is back at home, probably with his hands in his pants. He probably got one hand in his pants, one hand on the remote, right? Watching Housewives. Okay. And this would have caused a whole chaotic situation in the coworker's life had he got involved. But how many times have you done this? Ask yourself that question. How many times? Maybe it wasn't something as trivial as a cable bill, right? Maybe it was something a little more important, but still not your problem. Still, where it caused so much chaos and confusion in your life for you to be able to stick your neck out for this person. And this person doesn't even have the decency to manage themselves well, the decency to pay you back, any of those things. You got to think about that. I'm telling you, it's in relationships with people that we tend to throw our discernment out of the window. We end up making emotional decisions, rash decisions. We get rushed, we get pushed, we get emotionally charged about other people's situations, and we cause chaos for ourselves because we are not using discernment. Discernment is not going to lead you wrong. You cannot lose. You cannot lose when you use discernment. Let's keep going. He ended the tale by telling me not to take on other people's problems. And just looked at him, excuse me, I just looked at him for a few seconds and thought about what he said. This was brilliant. Brilliant. And it seems so trivial sometimes, like when we talk about it this way, and I'm, chuckling about it, right? Because when you really think about how many times you have stuck your neck out there to your own detriment because you weren't discerning. And if you were discerning in that situation, if you were using discernment in that situation, then you would not have caused so much problems for yourself. Okay? This man handled the situation with precision from the beginning and all the way to the ending. Now, he didn't call his cousin and say, man, you don't even know how to manage your money. You always do this. You always calling me and asking to borrow money. You still ain't pay me back for the last time. And then every time I do something for you, this, and like he didn't even do all that. Because discerning is not about condemning the other person. It's not about placing judgment on that other person for the intent of breaking them down, lifting yourself up. Okay, you're better at money than they are. But why do we even need to go into that? Why is that even necessary to say? Why you gotta call and demean your cousin? You just simply say, no, I'm not gonna be able to do it, man. I'm sorry that you're in this dilemma that you could possibly not be able to watch Housewives this weekend. But I ain't gonna be able to do it. I'm not gonna beat you down. I'm not gonna remind you that you are bad at your finances. You don't never pay your freaking bills. You always calling me, asking me for money. I gotta go pick up my son, and I can't call his mom to come get him because this is my weekend, and that, and I can't fool with her anyway because if I call her, then she gonna want to go back to court and do it. Like it's not even about going into all of that. Why are you even giving a person an explanation of your life and why you have to make the decisions that you make? No, you simply use discernment and act accordingly. It's not about tearing anyone else down. You don't have to demean. You don't have to degrade. You don't have to condemn. You don't have to place harsh judgment on a person and their decisions or anything like that. You just simply say, I ain't gonna be able to do it. No. You simply say no. Now, let's keep going. Throughout the entire time, he stayed calm and didn't allow the other person to control the situation or stress him out over a problem that had nothing to do with him. Right? I was very impressed by his attitude, but I was more impressed by what I learned. What can we learn from this situation, y'all? That clearly he used his ability to discern, to determine that he would not get involved in a problem that was not his problem. He didn't allow it to stress him. He didn't allow it to, get him emotionally charged. He's not calling and cussing his cousin out and acting a fool, right? Like some of us tend to do. Some of us tend to do that. And even when we say no, we still allow the situation to completely stress us. But when you are using discernment, you have peace about your decision. You can go to bed at night knowing that you did the very best thing given the situation. Let's keep going. Had he got involved, he would have placed himself and his family at a disadvantage. First, he would have been late picking up his son, or he would have had to inconvenience someone else to get his son picked up. He would have had to borrow the money from his mother, money his mother really didn't have to spare, and money he really couldn't afford to pay her back, right? Furthermore, my coworker had additional knowledge about this family member's track record. His track record. How many times have we ignored a person's track record? That's a mic drop right there. I could end it right now. Because we even ignore what we have seen, right? And a good indicator of future behavior is past behavior. This person has a track record. Yet we still put ourselves in dangerous situations, in harmful situations, in stressful, chaotic situations, even knowing that who we are dealing with has a track record. How many times, y'all? You got to ask yourself while we are reading this, right? And we are going through this, you should be doing self reflection, self analysis. How many times have you done this? You've created even a track record for yourself, right? A track record saying that people can create emergencies and you're going to drop everything and do everything that you can for them. That's your track record. That's what you have to look inside, right? Do some self analysis here and think about your own track record of being someone that can be stepped on, being a doormat, right? To your own detriment. Furthermore, my coworker had additional knowledge about this family member's track record of failing to pay back his debts because he already owed him money. You've already proven, right? This person's already proven to you. They're not going to do the right thing. They've already proven to you, right? That they're going to use their money. They're going to go smoke it up. They're going to go drink it up. They're going to go do all the things that they want to do with their money instead of paying their bills. And then when they need their bill paid in an emergency, like now all of a sudden my something is about to get cut off. Now it's an emergency for you to bail them out. Come on, man. Like, no. No, not at all. Get somebody else to do it. Utilizing all the information at his disposal. That's what discernment is about. Utilizing all the information at your disposal. You already know this, right? He said he would not put himself and his family in a negative position for someone who was clearly only thinking about his own needs and wants. I remember him saying to me, "How else would you characterize someone who asks to borrow money to keep the cable on and then requires you to bring the money to them?" Okay. Like, he not even gonna come get the money. He's like, "No, you got to bring it too." Child, pick a struggle. If that doesn't tell you all the information you need to know about this person, then I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what else to tell you. You've got all the information at your disposal. But how many of us would know all of this, have all of this information at our disposal, and still, still make a bad decision? And she says here, wow, another great morsel of information. I missed it the first go round. But once I thought about it, I realized my coworker was right. It's one thing when someone asks you to assist with a problem they're having, like borrowing money. It's another thing when they add on an additional problem for you, such as having you bring the money to them, especially since the situation is clearly not a life or death. He simply got in, he went to the cable place, got in line, right? And then calls his cousin saying, "Hey, I need you to run me, run me the money right now so I can pay this cable bill. It's about to get cut off. I need it right now by a certain time." Get somebody else to do it. Only when you learn how to discern will you take note of this information. Excuse me. Again, you don't take in the information solely to judge. Don't do that. There was no need to break anybody down, to cuss the cousin out. "Man, Eric, you always do this junk." And no. Even though a proper judgment must be made here, you have to make a judgment in this situation. But no, you are not judging, right? You're making a judgment, which means a judgment is the ability to make considered decisions or come to sensible conclusions. Who are you hurting by making a judgment that is based on you're making a decision, right? That you have considered and you're coming to a sensible conclusion, right? A sensible conclusion. It's totally sensible. And he hasn't made a mistake yet. He didn't judge his cousin, but he made a judgment about the situation and about who he was dealing with. Okay? Even though a proper judgment must be made here, what what are you really doing? Excuse me, what you are really doing is taking in the information to assess whether or not you should get involved. And you may not get involved in a situation just because you've made a proper judgment about either the situation or the person or both. Maybe I would do it for someone else. But because I know that this person has a track record, I can't I'm not gonna be able to do that for them. Did you discriminate? Yeah, sure. But it's a win-win situation, right? Because you are using discernment. You can't lose. You've done the proper thing here. Would it have made it difficult for my coworker to bring this person the money and also pick up his son at the same time and cause a further chain reaction of unpleasant events for him? Absolutely. Therefore, based upon these facts, he determined that he would not get involved. This is classic discernment in action. Action. Activate your discernment, people. Activate. You already have it. You already have it. And then guess what? The information that you need to make a good decision is already in front of you. It's already in front of you. You have all the information and you already have discernment. What you need to do is put it in action. Put it in action. Activate. My coworker methodically analyzed the information available to him and made a decision that was best for him and his family without feeling guilt, worry, or stress. I couldn't stop thinking about how he handled everything from start to finish. I mean, with grace and class and respect and dignity, right? But here is the part that most people would have overlooked in this situation. My coworker not getting involved did not place the family member in a worse situation. It didn't. That determination has nothing to do with the fact that the family member found someone else to help him pay the cable. He found somebody else to do it. Even if the family member was unable to come up with the funds and the cable was turned off, my coworker would not have been responsible for the problem spiraling downward. Why is that? Right? It has to do with the fact that my coworker did nothing to create the problem that was presented. And he also did not have any obligation to provide assistance, especially if providing assistance meant taking away from his own immediate family. How many times have we taken from our own immediate family, right? And now we've caused problems in our own home to help someone else. And it wasn't even our problem. The person had a track record. It wasn't even an emergency that was, a life or death thing. Think about how many times we have done that, y'all. When someone analyzes available information to determine whether they will help another person in this type of situation, they need to sift through the information and also weigh the pros and cons of getting involved in a situation, right? What are the pros and cons? If after sifting through the information, the person determines that providing help will tip the scale such that the helper is at a deficit, then they need not get involved. Don't do it. What does a deficit mean? Deficit, the amount by which something, especially a sum of money, is too small. Number two, an excess of expenditure or liabilities over income or assets in a given period. Meaning, let me do this definition too. Number three, the amount or score by which a team or individual is losing. Number four, a deficiency or failing, especially in a neurological or psychological function. How many times have we put ourselves at a deficit? Hmm? We didn't have the money. And now we're at a financial deficit. Now we have missed paying our bills because we helped someone else pay their bills. Someone who had a track record of not managing their money, someone who had a track record of not paying back, right? And how many times have we said, look, I'm going to let you borrow the money, but I need it right back because I got to pay my bill. But we knew this person had a track record. My mother used to tell me, don't loan what you can't afford to just give, right? If it's going to leave you at a deficit, you can't afford to loan it because you have to. If you are a discerning individual, you have to consider, what if? What if I don't get this money back? Right? You have to think about that. Then they need not get involved. Don't do it. Don't get involved. I can't do it. Like, you just simply cannot do it. Okay? And it doesn't require explanation. It doesn't require uh for you to be nasty, for you to condemn or demean or diminish anybody. Because even though I told Cuzzo no, I still respect Cuzzo, right? Because Cuzzo is a human being. Okay? But more importantly, had the cable been turned off, it would not have been my coworker's fault because it was not his problem to solve at any level. The problem simply existed when it came to my coworker. So even if the problem got worse, right? Even if it got worse, my coworker had no attachment to the problem from the onset. And therefore, the family member cannot assign blame to him at any stage or level of the problem. Now, we have run into situations where people still do, right? Well, you didn't let me you didn't let me borrow the money. Okay. Well, it's still not my problem. I made a discerning decision for myself. And really, if you are even someone that I need to continue a relationship, right? You may be family, right? But I'm noticing that even as my family member, you are putting me in a bad situation, right? Because of your failures. And not only that, but now there's contention between us because I was unable or unwilling to help. And that's another discerning decision that you need to make. Do I even need to continue a relationship with this person, family member or not, when this is the dynamics of our relationship? When if I don't stick myself, I don't put my neck on the line for you, I don't allow myself to be a doormat for you, then now I'm being blamed for your problems, for your emergencies. Now I got to ask myself, do I even need to continue a relationship with you? But how many times are we do we avoid even trying to make or having to make that decision? You see, some people tend to assign blame to another person when that person decides not to help them with a problem. In their mind, if the problem gets worse, all of a sudden the non-helper is to blame because they decided not to help. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not how it works. That is not how it works. It's your job as the one who discerns properly to understand that your decision not to get involved includes not taking on the burden of guilt toward the person with the problem. You don't even need to carry this. You don't need to carry this on your shoulders. This is not your problem, and I'm not going to feel guilty about it. I'm not going to be stressed. I'm not going to be worried because I made a discerning decision. Okay? Once you discern your way through the situation, and discernment dictates that you do not get involved, you've done your job. You must move on. And I'm telling you now, if your family member or your friend or whoever gives you a problem about it, then that's another discerning decision that you need to make. Do I even need to continue a relationship with this person? Because every time they bring a problem to me, first of all, they keep bringing problems to me. And then every time I'm not able to do it, then I'm feeling guilty. I'm worried. I'm stressed. I'm being blamed. I'm being thrown under the bus. But it's not even my problem. It's your problem. You need to consider in that situation, do I even need to continue a relationship with this person? Again, discerning allows you to put the situation into perspective, make a healthy decision, and move on without the burden of guilt or remorse because you know the decision was a correct one, just as it was with my coworker. Focus on focus on the objective parts of the situation and the path of what to do the path of what to do will become clear. Meaning, don't allow the emotions of the situation, the emergency of the situation, right? Because someone is making it a emergent thing, right? Oh, it's an emergency. I need to write it. You know, some people do those things because they don't want you to think about it. They just want you to act. They want you to make a rash decision quickly. And you have to assess, is this even, do I need to subject myself to this type of treatment? Right? My coworker stayed focused on the pertinent facts and he came out on top. If you focus similarly, your outcome will be the same. It'll be the same. To assist you with assessing whether or not to get involved, whether or not you should get involved in a situation such as this one, I've outlined an exercise, assessment test, right? That you should take that will keep you focused on the important facts that would lead you to determine whether or not you should get involved. Okay? So the author here, R.L. Maco, is even giving you questions, right? Just giving you some exercises and some assessment questions here. Or you could say, let me just ask these questions to determine if I need to get involved. Discerning when presented with an emergency. These are the assessment questions, right? We're going to get into these assessment questions and then we are going to end just before this next example, okay? And then we're going to come back. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to come back tomorrow or if I'm going to come back Monday to complete chapter 4. This is a fairly long chapter, especially considering the chapter 3 was like 3 or 4 pages. This is a long chapter, okay? But she gives us some really good scenarios here and some really good examples, life situations that we've all come in contact with this, right? On some level. Maybe it wasn't a cable bill, right? But it was probably just something else. But still, it caused us, right, to discern in the same way. And so here are some assessment questions that we can go over. Number 1 here says, is the problem a true emergency where someone's life or liberty is at stake? Is this a life or death situation? If not, you should stop right there. Stop right there. Okay. Stop right there, honey. Okay. You don't need no more information. Just stop right there. When someone communicates to you that something is an emergency and the situation is not a true emergency, This person is communicating so much to you about their character. You must, you must pay attention. Pay attention. Okay? Number 2, did the person position the problem as if the problem somehow is yours to solve? Hmm? Did this person make it your problem? Does the proposed solution, as communicated to you, add an additional obstacle for you to overcome in order to help? Hmm? Does it does it create obstacles? Remember, in this situation, not only did he have to get the money, but he also had to bring the money. He also would have had to call somebody to pick up his son. He also would have had to get it from his mom. All of the things. These are all obstacles. Number 4, does getting involved cause you hardship or places you or your family somehow in a worse position by getting involved? If the answer is no to any of these questions, then ask yourself, what type of problem is it? What type of problem is it? Someone else's personal problem. Is it someone else's personal problem? And number 5, does your involvement cause anyone else in your family any inconvenience or hardship? Huh? Does this, like, and one scenario that I'm thinking about right now is sometimes we have even allowed people to like move in with us, right? Move in, maybe stay, whatever. And we have caused hardships or inconveniences on our children or the people who also live in our home. Think about that. Well, we may have put our children in an unsafe situation where they end up getting abused physically, verbally, sexually, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, when it's not even our problem. And if we were using discernment, all of the information was there. All of the red flags were there. The track record was there, right? But we simply chose not not to use our discernment and make a discerning decision in that situation. And now we have caused more problems for ourselves and our loved ones. Or we put ourselves in harmful situations or our loved ones in harmful situations. As you can see, the answer to each question is important. One answer may give you a definitive answer that does not require any additional questions for you to consider. You don't even have to keep asking all of these questions for yourself. Don't even take up the mental capacity or taking the time to even ask yourself all of these other questions. They don't even matter. You already have the information that you need to make a discerning decision. So just make the discerning decision. You cannot lose. You cannot lose. The answer that prompt, the answers that prompt additional questions will not confuse you. Rather, you will attain clarity that will help you truly understand the situation completely and not just one side of the story. In the end, you will have peace of mind because you will know what to do and you will be able to clearly articulate your position to the person without regret or feelings of remorse. Situations where one has to discern whether to lend money or situations that always provide, excuse me, hold on, I feel like I read that wrong. Situations where one has to discern whether to lend money are situations that always provide the best lessons in discernment. Hmm. Interesting, right? So, when we come back, we're going to look at another example here, right? She said, let's look at another example where the crux of the matter is that someone is trying to place their problems in another person's lap. Okay. So that's what we're going to jump right into that example when we get back, when we come back. We'll do a quick recap, right? We'll do a quick recap and then we'll jump right into this next example. So, how are you feeling? How are you all feeling about these lessons in discernment? How are you feeling about it? Do you feel empowered? Do you feel enriched? Do you feel enlightened? Do you feel that you are better equipped to make decisions that are best for you in your life and your life purpose? All while still treating everyone with dignity and respect, right? Knowing that as long as you are discerning, that you are in a win-win situation, that you cannot lose, that even at a minimum, you will still have or still be able to take full advantage. Full. You'll still be full. Your life will be full. And at a maximum, you are making decisions that can determine life or death. I mean, y'all, I'm telling you, like this book is such a good news book. Such a good news book. Such a good news book because it lets us know that the power to make decisions is in our hands. We already have the gift of discernment. We got it at birth. And all we need to do is activate, put it in action, put it to work in your life. Discernment, having the ability to sift through different types of information, constant adversity, and potential threats in life while consistently making appropriate choices, rational judgments, and proper decisions that will propel you forward with the steadfast purpose of improving your life and ultimately improving the world around you. Meaning that when you're not using discernment, even in your relationships and your interactions with people you love, people who ask you for money, and you're actually doing them a disservice too. You're actually doing them a disservice too. You see what I'm saying? You see how that works? It's not only what's best for you, it is what's best for those you love. It's best for those you encounter. It is best for the world as a whole, for you to learn to discern and never leave home without it. Okay? I love you all. You know I do. That is why I do what I do. Okay? I am Delores, Michelle Peters. I am your discernment and relationship coach. Okay? So just know you can reach out to me and you will have someone in your corner, not someone who is in the driver's seat of your life. I'm not driving. I'm not driving your life. I'm not driving you. Okay? This ain't no Miss Daisy situation, okay, honey? I am not getting in the driver's seat of your life. I am empowering you to drive. Turn on that navigation system of discernment. Put that GPS to work and let it guide you to your ultimate purpose, to your destination. Let it guide your life. Okay? Remember that you guys can get my book, my ebook, The Religious Narcissist Decoded. This is going to start really making a lot of sense to you, right? Because you're learning to discern. And when you learn to discern, you cannot be deceived. There is a lot of deception in this world, but you will not be deceived when you discern. Okay? Remember, you are important to me. I need you to survive. I love you guys. Bye-bye for now.